All right. Shalom, 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 y'all. Shalom. You are watching Spiritual Combat. I am Michael Israel, and we are continuing with our book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, verse by verse Bible study breakdown. Um, we are going through the book of Sirach verse by verse. We right now we are on chapter 5, and we're going to get started with it. If you can, let let me know how my audio is. If my audio is good, we will start rolling on this thing. Okay, and I got a 10. The audio is good, so we're gonna start off on chapter 5 of the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, otherwise known as Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha. And we're going to continue to go through this and get the meat off the bone on it. All right, so let's get it up here on the screen. And we're going to start off. It says, "Set thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life." It says, "Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart." Okay. Um, so what it's saying is, don't be independent. I'm sure it's going to come and tell you to trust in the Most High. So we're going to continue reading. And say not, woe, and say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. Okay, so it's saying don't get too haughty and high minded. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm have happened unto me? For the Lord is long suffering, he will in no wise let thee go. Okay. So it's what's that word? Presumptuous. So don't get presumptuous. Don't get too um cocky. You got to stay meek and humble. Don't have a high, lofty opinion of yourself. Uh when you when you when we read about Moses, it talks about how meek he was. You know what I'm saying? Um, and you know, it's in this day and age, humility and meekness is like a rare superpower. Okay. Um, now hold on one sec, because I don't pro petition. Hold on, we're gonna look that up. The action of probating or appeasing a god or spirit. Okay, hold on. There we go. I guess I don't got my audio on. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get it. Win or regain the favor of. Okay, that's the meaning of that word. Pro propagate. Okay. Um, so it says concerning propetition, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. So again, it's telling you to have a healthy fear of the Most High and His way, and you know, don't that that whole paragraph or whatever is all right. Umbry, can you get your children? They're in the hallway yelling. Okay. If you're watching this, I'm sure you're watching. Brother, Brother Umbry, your children are in the hallway, uh, yelling at the door to get in. All right. So it says, concerning propetition, do not be not without fear to add sin unto sin. It says, and say, Corey, can you tell Aaliyah to get her child out of the hallway? And say not, his mercy is great. He will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners. So, you know, I watch a lot of people, man. They sometimes things will be going on, and clearly somebody is sinning. Clearly somebody is out of order in what they're doing. And like even me as a head of assembly, I've learned there's only so much I could do. And then you got to just trust the Most High. You back off and let the Most High deal with situations. And look, see all this gray hair. This is years of banging my head against the wall. Um, and when you really trust the Most High Yah, you learn to just put it in His hands and just and relax in His peace. Um, Make no tarry to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Okay? So he's saying we have to be diligent about seeking out the Most High. You know what I'm saying? We have to be diligent about it. We have to, uh, and like I said, this comes back to why it's you can these words pop off the screen when you're living this, when you're living around saints, when you're fellowshipping with them and everything. You see things. And you see people who have just a nonchalant way of dealing with sin that they know they have in their life. You see people who have a nonchalant way just about how that about their salvation, about their walk. And then you see people who are diligent, they're not playing around, they coming straight down the middle with it. Okay? Set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. Okay? So it says, set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. And I could just tell you something where Most High had to deal with me, where for unfortunately I can't go into details, but where I had it where I was getting um tools from somewhere, okay, and it was unjustly gotten, and the Most High brought it to my attention that because the more it was like the more tools I got, the more my car kept breaking down. And I'm a mechanic, and some of the problems were like some insane stuff that it was hard for me to even diagnose. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? This this is a curse. I was like, let me get rid of all these daggone unjustly gotten items. And I started throwing that stuff away and getting rid of it. And lo and behold, my car started running better. So uh when now not with every wind, and go not into every way, for so doeth the sinner that hath a double tongue. Okay, we're gonna read that we're gonna read that verse there in the other version, okay? And that is 9. It says, "Don't be blown about by every wind, and don't take every shortcut. This is how the devious sinners act." Okay? You have to have a solid, consistent path. And I know we've all known people who in anytime there's a hustle, there's a little quick way to do stuff to get over or something, they're on it. You know what I'm saying? And it's telling you don't be that way. Just be solid. Uh verse 10 says, "Be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answers." Okay. If thou has understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. So it's right here. It's big on, and you'll see that theme that's drilled in all through Sirach is just not talking a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? Not being quick to give answers. It's gonna hit on that. You know what I'm saying? So honor, honor, and shame is in talk, and the tongue of man is his fall. Okay? Honor and shame is in talk, and the tongue of man is his fall. Be not called a whisper, and lie not in wait with thy tongue, for a foul shame is upon the thief, and an evil condemnation upon the double tongue. Be not ignorant in anything, in a great matter or a small. So again, it's talking about speech and the tongue and how just critical that is. You know what I'm saying? You I hope y'all seeing that. And let me get this dude out of here. Let's see, Christian concerning that. Okay, I'm a there's somebody in who poof, he's gone. He was in the comments, but I just deleted him out. And it's crazy, man. When you delete somebody out on here on this program I'm using, we have yet to find where it even deletes them to, because like you never see them again. It's crazy how far where it deletes them. Like you never have to ever worry about seeing them. So hallelujah, whoever that person was gone, and he can't even see my channel anymore. All right. So anyway, so that's the end of chapter 4. It was a short one, it's 15 verses. Now we're gonna get in, or I'm sorry, that was the end of chapter 5. It was a short one. And now we're gonna get in to chapter 6. Okay. Chapter 6 says, "Instead of a friend, become not an enemy." So it's literally telling you, you ain't got to buddy up to everybody. You just don't be an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Because look, hey, you ain't gonna vibe with everybody like somebody you want to be a friend with, but don't be an enemy. Okay. For thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame, and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that have a double tongue. Okay. And let's get this. I'd like to hit this in the good news version real quick. It says, "Don't rely." Okay, no, hold on. Let's go to there. Okay. It says, "And do not be an enemy when you should be a friend. A bad reputation brings you the disgrace that lying sinners deserve." Okay. Somebody said, I'm gonna have to delete this person again. Let's see how many accounts he can make. Let's see how many accounts he can make. There it goes. Because it's no problem to. Okay, so anyway, it says, extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Okay. In the other version, it says, let me skip to the next chapter in it. We're going to read it in another version. It says, don't be enamored of your own intelligence, lest you strength, lest your strength be taken captive like a bull. Okay. So don't have a high, lofty opinion of yourself. Stay grounded. Stay humble. You know. Um, I'll tell you a person I met. I was telling somebody else about it. Some of y'all might know him. Any of y'all can easily look this person up. I'm just telling you, I've actually met this person, and a person I've met who exemplified like the biblical humility that I read about in Sirach, and uh, they exemplify the biblical humility that I've read about in the book of Sirach and in the book of Proverbs would be uh, Elder Rob Mathis. Like being around him, you would like if you didn't know who he was and you got around him, not only would you most time really not even know he's in the room because he for the most part he just kind of sit in the back. He's not looking for accolades. He don't come off with a high lofty opinion of himself or anything, but he exemplifies true biblical humility and a meek spirit about himself. um and you'd have no idea he was like a Hall of Famer, and he's done some of the stuff he's done in the NFL, and he's been up there to the heights of, he's seen what Babylon has to offer and everything, and it, you know, meeting him, his quietness and that meek, humble spirit, yet it screams to you. You'd be like if you have wisdom and if you have understanding, you'd understand what I was saying. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, so all right, we're gonna keep on. It says, thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and leave thyself as a dry tree. A wicked soul shall destroy him that have it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. Okay, let's see. So let me see. I kind of, it says, yeah, okay, I'm gonna read it in the other version. Um, Let me see. It says, don't become an enemy instead of it. All right, there it is. It says, you will devour your leaves, destroy your fruit, and leave yourself like a withered tree. Okay, let's go to the super expanded version. It says, you will be left like, okay, do do not let your passions carry you away. Okay, so it goes with that one. So it says, do don't be enamored of your own intelligence, lest your strength be taken captive like a bull. It says you will be devoured You will devour your leaves, destroy your fruit, and leave yourself like a withered tree. If you have a bad soul, it will destroy you. It will make you a joke to your enemies. Okay. And now we're going to read it in the KJV version. um telling you, extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull straying alone. Thou shalt eat up thy leaves and lose thy fruit, and the leaves of thy and leaves leave thyself as a dry tree. A wicked soul shall destroy him that have it, and shall make him to be laughed to scorn of his enemies. Okay. So we got through all that. Okay. All right. Um, let's see if he got any more accounts. That dude, I deleted about 4 of his accounts out of there. He kept coming in comments. Let's see if he wants to get more deleted. All right. It says, sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. Okay. Be in peace with many. Nevertheless, have but one counselor of 1,000. So that's heavy. So, two different things there. So, being kind in speech and hold on one sec. There we go. Hold on. Okay. So it says so we have 2 verses there. Um being kind in speech, which is something I'm working on to be nice, because fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings, and that's something I'm learning, Um, and then it tells you to be at peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. So you don't need, and that's something. It's not a whole bunch of people that have wisdom that are going to give you understanding. You know what I'm saying? It says, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. So it's telling you, don't, uh, and again, this is wisdom here, stuff that even I need to hear. Don't be too quick to sign off on people. Take your time, discern them. Um, you know what I'm saying? Discern who you're dealing with, and time, let time work is it's perfect work. You know what I'm saying? So all right, we're gonna scroll down some more. It says let's see, for some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of trouble. And that's why they tell you, a lot of times you got to go through stuff to get to stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through something to get to something. And it says, and there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. Again, some friends is a companion at the table, and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. So when the going gets tough, they get going and they get gone. That's basically what it's saying there. But if thy prosperity, but in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. Okay. If thou be brought low, he will be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. So he again, uh um so again it says, separate thyself from thine enemies, and take heed of thy friends. So again, it's dropping that wisdom to you. It's telling you to use discernment. You see what I'm saying? Um, a faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that have found such a one have found a treasure. Okay. Nothing doeth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is a medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. Okay. So be, fear the Lord. What the way I'm reading this, and now I'm gonna read it in another version. It says, "Trustworthy friends are life's medicine, and those who fear the Lord will find them." So it's saying, if those who fear the Lord are gonna find faithful friends, faithful, trustworthy friends. And when it says fear the Lord, let's read that another way so people don't get it confused, and they don't uh Eurocentric Christianize it. You know what I'm saying? Those people who obey Yah's laws, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Those types of people are gonna find faithful friends. Why? Because you're discerning people according to what's written right here. You see what I'm saying? You're discerning um people according to the law, statutes, commandments, to what's written here in Sirach and Proverbs, and in the law, like I said, in the law, statutes, commandments. You see what I'm saying? And as we read through this, you're going to begin to discern. You're going to be able to spot people who are wicked. Now, this is the thing with uh, a lot of people, because everybody don't study the book of Proverbs. People don't got a good understanding of it. They don't really study this book, Sirach. And Proverbs tells you need to be studying it, the book of Proverbs and the word. But like I said, Proverbs breaks brotherhood, loving your brother as you love yourself. It breaks it down. It breaks that down to it breaks it down to the, what will you call it? To it breaks that down to a granular level. What you're reading, what we're reading here in this in Sirach and in Proverbs, what we're reading is breaking the Bible down to and it's breaking brotherhood down to a granular level. And it's sad because you see a lot of things going on um, among saints and people who call themselves saints, and you see things going on, and they think they're in a gray area of the word. Well, there is no gray area in the word. The whole word is black and white and clear, and there's no confusion. But because they don't read books like this, they think they think they just kind of in a gray area, and they trying to twist stuff to them. But then when you read through here, you can identify people who are being wicked, and you can clearly identify people who are being righteous, and it makes it totally clear. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Yep. So it says, let's let me see what verse I left off on. So Condrell's a faithful friend. Faithful friend is medicine. And like I said, when you're obedient to the law, statutes, and commandments that's laid out here, you'll be good to go. Whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. Okay. My son, gather instruction from thy youth up. So shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age. Okay. And again, this is I gotta hit this again because I watch a lot of people struggle in life, in certain areas of their life and in life in general, because they don't get this just this powerful verse here that is when you get in these books, when you get in the book of Proverbs and when you get in the book of Sirach, it drills this in that you got to get wisdom and get instruction. That you have to learn and develop yourself and put the work in. This stuff doesn't happen magically. But again, the witchcraft of Eurocentric Christianity, it I'm telling you, man, it's it's an acid. You know what I'm saying? Eurocentric Christianity, um, it's you know what I'm saying? It's terrible what this stuff does. So it says, my son, gather instruction from thy youth up. So shalt thou find wisdom till thine old age. It says, come unto her as one that ploweth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. For thou shalt not toil much in laboring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon. So again, this is something you have to stay diligent with. You see what I'm saying? You have to diligently uh, go after this thing. You see what I'm saying? You have to be diligent in you have to be diligent in going after wisdom. Okay. And they said do it in a way, and that's why I say you have to be diligent. You have to go after you have to go after wisdom in a manner that you're not expecting a quick return. It takes time for it to, you know, reach fruition. It says, my son, gather instruction. All right, so that I will find wisdom till thine old age. Okay. It says, come under her. And it talks about how to approach acquiring wisdom. And for you young brothers, you need to recognize this. It's not gonna come overnight. It says come, and I talked about that in my last show where back when I was like 18, 19, going in the military, I'm reading Proverbs and I'm studying it and I'm praying to God because it's saying this is something righteous to go after. And it says, come under her as one that ploweth and soweth, and wait for her good fruits. For thou shalt not toil much in laboring about her, but thou shalt eat of her fruits right soon. She is very unpleasant to the unlearned. He that is without understanding will not remain with her. She will lie upon him as a mighty stone of trial, and he will cast her from him ere it be long. For wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifest unto many. So a lot of people don't acquire wisdom. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people, when wisdom's brought to them, they just cast it aside. They don't want it. They want to stay stuck on stupid. You see what I'm saying? We got a good example of a lack of wisdom right here in the comments. Y'all see the dude, he has nothing better to do in life but to put comments on somebody's live stream. You know what I'm doing after I get done with this live stream? I got to get back to work. I got other things I have to do. I have a life. I'm working. I'm moving forward. Which y'all got to understand, there are a lot of people who are mentally ill and demonically possessed out here. I was telling y'all in the other show, one of the other shows, just being out here in this Hebrew Israelite walk, um, you run into a lot of mentally ill people. People don't realize how many mentally ill people there are out there. And when I say mentally ill, I mean demonically possessed. And if you just look into the comments, like when I do a show, anytime I do a show where I'm drilling straight down the middle on it, particularly shows on marriage and relationship, when I come straight down the middle on how a man needs to be, how women need to be, all that stuff. Anytime I do a show on that, anytime I do shows on certain sexual issues, anytime I'm coming out of book of Proverbs and stuff like that, you get these people, man. These people come in here and they spirits and they mind be bubbling, be going crazy. That's confirmation. And that's how I know I'm coming straight down the middle on this thing. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's like Satan's kingdom is right there among us operating. You know what I'm saying? Very subtly. You know what I'm saying? It's operating very subtly, but it's there. And it's not obvious. It's like what we see there, that some dude, he keeps coming in the comments and he's creating distraction because he lacks wisdom. Like, I look, to be honest, how many times have y'all ever even seen me in the comments on anybody's live? Even the people in straight, where every now and then I'll type in there big old facts or something like that if they coming down the middle, but I'm rarely in the comments because it's just not time. For wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifest unto many. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel, and put thy feet into her fetters, and thy neck into her chain. So it's saying, put that yoke on uh, of wisdom, okay? And put thy feet into her fetters, and put thy neck into her chain. Bow down thy shoulder and bear her, and be not grieved with her bonds. Come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Do y'all hear this? You hear do you hear this strong language? And this language here mirrors the language in Proverbs. And it's like, literally, y'all got to hear this. When I encounter people who got issues and problems going on in them and around them, upon further investigation, you see that they have not seeked after wisdom, like this word is strongly encouraging you to. It says, search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And then thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. You see that? It says, and when thou have got hold of her, let her not go. And like I said, y'all, I'm going to say it again. These books, the book of Proverbs, the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, they have a lot of wisdom in them. Okay? They got, especially for you young brothers, There's a lot of wisdom in these books to help you navigate the minefield of life. And you're going to see older men that go against this stuff in here. Why? Because they haven't studied, they haven't seeked after wisdom. Okay. For at the last thou shalt find her rest, and that shall be turned to thy joy. But again, you have to seek this. And when it says seek her out, and when it said earlier, you got to treat wisdom and these parables that are in here, you got to treat them like you're sowing something into a garden. What it means by that is you got to study this and study this, and it's going to take time. And eventually, from meditating on the word, it's going to be the way you think. And you're going to begin to automatically respond with wisdom to situations. You see what I'm saying? So it says, then shall her fetters be a strong defense for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. For there is a golden ornament upon her, and her hands are purple lace. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honor. So again, at, you're studying this over the years and you're experiencing things in life, and then you get older and you've been studying this wisdom and knowledge for so long, it becomes integrated into your thinking and into how you move. And then the fruit begins coming forth in your life. And you could begin seeing externally the fruit of wisdom. Okay. You see what I'm saying? It becomes evident the fruit of wisdom. Or you could see other people like the dude who was, because what a dude did, he was putting comments in there and I'd block his account and then he'd log into another one of his accounts, come right back, put something else in. And then he just kept doing it. And guess what? It's like a math equation. You could see the fruit of his stupidity. And if you met, I meet these people in person sometimes, y'all, and they are mentally ill people that's full of demons. And it's sad. But what happens when you get wisdom in you, you begin to put on this wisdom and you begin to have eyes to see and ears to hear, and you could just see people behave in a certain way. You know exactly the way they are, and you know exactly what you need to do. You know whether you need to sidestep them, whether you need to back off, whether you need to do this, do that. And that's when that um wisdom turns into the robe. It says, thou shalt put her on as a robe of honor, and shalt put her about thee as a crown of joy. So your life will be full of peace and joy. Okay. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. Okay. So you know when people aren't being taught, they don't want to be taught. And I could tell you, man, when you seeking, when you trying to get it, I could tell you, man, when you trying to get after it and get this thing, I'm telling you, man, nobody has to convince you. You know what I'm saying? You're like a somebody who's thirsty. You gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? Um, it says, my son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. And prudent means taking care for the future. Okay. Thinking ahead. Okay. All right. It says, we're going to the next one. It says, if thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. So, I tell a lot of young people, man, the worst people you could be hanging around is other people your age. You know, it's not good for a bunch of children to be hanging around each other. I try to stress that now this Greco-Roman Eurocentric beast system we live in, they push you and encourage you to be around, for children to be around children and socialize them that way, even though it's never going to be like the only time it's going to ever be like that in their life is while they're in school. Once they're out of school, you're going to get on a job, you're going to be working with people way older than you, a little old. Nobody's going to be the same age there. All right. Verse 35 says, be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. So again, talking about what I was saying about the importance of being diligent. You know what I'm saying? Really being diligent in what you're doing. And you know what I'm saying? In your studies of this word. Okay. It says, and if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. So this is important to me. Okay, what's written here is also important from my perspective, because that tells me don't chase these young people down trying to get them to understand stuff. They're supposed to be chasing after the wisdom. It said, let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commands. He shall establish thine heart, and give thee wisdom and thine own desire. Okay? So that's exactly what I was saying before about meditating on uh this word day and night. And not just this word, but I'm talking about, Yah's word, the Bible, and everything like that. Um, what I'm saying, the book of Proverbs is a good place to start, because again, it's breaking brotherhood down to a granular level. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. Let's go to the next. All right, it said we're gonna go through chapter 7. Okay, so we're on chapter 7. It says, do no evil, so shall no harm come unto thee. Depart from the unjust, and iniquity shall turn away from thee. Okay. Um, I want to. We're gonna hit that in another version. It says, don't do evil things, and evil will not catch up with you. Keep your distance from anything unjust, and it will turn away from you. Okay. I want to see if we have an even better version. So let's see. Okay. So yeah. So and depart from the unjust. So unjust people, people who are in iniquity or lawlessness, people who aren't obedient to the word of Yah. And a lot of people try, well, I'm obedient. They think they're getting around, but you could discern something's off about them, but you can't put your finger on what they're doing that's off. And that's because you need to study this book. You need to study the book of Proverbs. It gets into the little nuances of brotherhood and being a brother, and how people should be behaving. You need to study the book of Sirach. Again, it gets into the little nuances of being a brother or a sister. And that way, ain't no wiggle room for people to play games. My son, sow not unto the furors of unrighteousness, and thou shalt not reap them sevenfold. So it's telling you to be obedient. You, you know, don't, for whatever reason, be caught up in wickedness or be around people caught up in wickedness, because it's going to get you too. Seek not of the Lord preeminence, neither of the king the seat of honor. All right. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get it. Y'all bear with me. We're gonna get all the meat off the bone. Preeminence is the quality of being superior. Uh-oh, it's a type of high status or distinction for anything considered to be the best at something. Okay? So let's go back to that. It's telling you seek not of the Lord preeminence. Trying to again, thinking, oh yeah, the Most High got me this, that. You think you all that, and like I talk about, some people, you listen to them talk, and you think they just came down from heaven to have lunch with you, and then they're gonna be heading back up there, because I got a 2 o'clock with Jesus, so I gotta get back up to heaven because I'm a big deal. When the reality is you just another wicked ass sinner. Okay, it tells you seek not of the Lord preeminence, neither of the king the seat of honor. Justify not thyself before the Lord, and boast not of thy wisdom before the king. Okay? This stuff is again is getting back to that being meek, being humble, and what that looks like. And like I said earlier, I've met a lot of people in my life, and I would say, um, as far as actually knowing the most accomplished person I've ever met, like mainstream, all that stuff like that, again, it's been Elder Rob Mathis. And just meeting him, being around him, I spent a lot of time around him talking to him. He exemplifies that that meek, humble spirit. Because again, if I didn't know anything about football, which I really don't, but he's so big, even though I don't know nothing about football, you know who he is. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's funny when at the Great Awakening Hebrew gathering, that was when I first met everybody in Straightway at the Great Awakening Hebrew gathering. I didn't even know he was there. I didn't even know he was at the Great Awakening Hebrew gathering up in Detroit. I didn't know he was there till I went back and looked at pictures, and I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't know who he was, at the time. But like I said, you look in, you type his name in anywhere, everything comes up. Um, so again, it's stressing, and you're going to see this is a common theme all through this book about being meek, being humble, being low key. How Moses, he was like meek. Okay, it says, "Seek not to be judged, being not able to take away iniquity, lest at any time thou fear the person of the mighty, a stumbling block in the way of the unrighteous." So seek not to be judged. Okay, seek not to be judged. Being not able to take away iniquity. Okay. Let's read that in let's go to 7. It says, "Don't sin against city inhabitants." What the heck? "And bring yourself down in their estimation, estim, estimation. For you won't be innocent even of committing it in the first place. Don't commit any crime. So it says, seek not to be judged. Okay. And it's saying, don't commit any crime against the general public and don't disgrace yourself among townspeople. So, in a nutshell, what this verse is saying is, oh, actually, that was the wrong one. I should have read 6. Okay. Don't aspire to become a judge. You might not be strong enough to get rid of injustice. Perhaps you will be too cautious in the presence of a powerful person and bring a scandal on your good name. Okay? So that's what that means. Seek not to be judged. That's what it was breaking down. All right. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Number verse 7. Often not offend not against a multitude of a city, and then thou shalt not cast thyself down among the people. Okay. So don't do anything out there among the heathens. You know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna give yourself a bad name. It says, bind not one sin upon another, for in one thou shalt not be unpunished. Okay. So the breakdown in the other versions is don't keep committing sin. Oh, it'll be all right. Oh, and you can see again, because we read something like that earlier. You see people who have that nonchalant attitude and they're not taking things serious and they can't make the connection why they're not getting a good result from life. Okay. It says, say not, God will look upon the multitude of my oblations, and when I offer to the Most High, God, He will accept it. Okay? Be not faint hearted when thou makest thy prayer, and neglect not to give alms. So, what that's talking about is, uh, wait, be not faint hearted when thou makest thy prayer and neglect to give alms. So, it says, don't be faint. So I'm gonna have to read that in a breakdown. It says, don't be timid in your prayer and don't neglect caring for those in need. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward. Laugh not, laugh no man to scorn in the bitterness of his soul, for there is one which humbleth and exalteth. Okay. Don't mock a person who is bitter in spirit, for there's one who humbles and who exalts. So you have discernment on how you're dealing with people, okay? And and don't mock them when they're already bitter, because it's almost like kicking someone while they're down. Devise not a lie against thy brother, the neither do the like to thy friend. I mean, I don't even have to break that one down. Use use not to make any manner of lie, for the custom thereof is not good. Okay. Use it says, don't desire to tell a lie. Continuing in a lie results in no good. Okay. Use not now. This is one of the ones where again, like I was telling you, the book of Sirach and the book of Proverbs, they literally give you instruction on any situation you could be in. Now check this one out. Use not many words in a multitude of elders, and make not much babbling when thou prayest. Okay. So it's saying when you're around a bunch of older people and you're a younger person, don't talk much. All right. It says, hate not laborious work, neither husbandry, which the Most High hath ordained. And so hate not laborious work. So laborious work. We got to work hard. And it says neither husbandry. Husbandry is gardening. Gardening is husbandry. If you look that word up. Number not thyself among the multitude of sinners, but remember the wrath will not tarry long. That goes back to that verse. You see somebody off, they ain't going in the way, don't be around them. 17, humble thyself greatly, for the vengeance of the ungodly is fire and worms. Okay, so you need to be humble. Don't act like don't deceive yourself in thinking you there, I got it, I'm good, this, that, and have a prideful opinion of who you are and all that stuff like that. No, you gotta be like supplicating and be meek and humble and really seeking after the Lord in humility. It says, change not a friend for any good, by no means, neither a faithful brother for the gold of Ophir. So, uh, a friend and a faithful brother, don't trade it for nothing. It's invaluable. It, it's saying not even for money. Okay. Because what? What does money buy? Money buys you help. People I was telling somebody this other day, with money, you can pay people to do stuff for you. But if you have a solid friend, they'll do stuff for you. They'll do stuff with you. They'll help you out. That's why it's so important to cultivate true biblical brotherhood and sisterhood. Forgo not a wise and good woman, for her grace is above gold. All right. Oh, that's telling you a good, righteous, uh, Proverbs 31 woman, wife, again, is telling you the stuff that's better than gold, some of the most valuable things on earth that you can have. Whereas thy servant worketh truly, entreat him not evil, nor the hurling that bestoweth himself wholly for thee. Okay, this is a good one. I mean, and you read through this thing, man, and you be finding nuggets of wisdom, boy, that are needed. It says, "Don't abuse household slaves who work hard, or laborers who devote themselves to their work." Okay, so again, this is wisdom for life. It says, "Let thy soul love a let thy soul love a good servant, and defraud him not of liberty." So somebody's a good hard worker and they're getting after, they're doing what they need to do. Don't be oppressive to them. Has thou cattle? Have an eye to them, and if thy be for thy profit, keep them with thee. Has thou children? Instruct them, and bow down their neck from their youth. Hast thou daughters? Have a care of their body, and show not thyself cheerful toward them. Okay, and that what where you hear it is with children. You, I've seen children where you could see that where the parents haven't humbled that child. That child's very, you know, um, just don't have that meek, humble spirit. Uh, they talk to I don't know how to say it, but you can see when a child has been properly reared, has been uh the rod has not been spared on them, and that child, when they deal with an adult, they show that adult the due respect. They have a way about themselves, a meek way you can see on a child. So, and again, that comes with whoopings. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. So you got to discern. You have to have wisdom and discern. Is this a man of understanding? Is he patient? Is he able to understand? Because what the Bible tells you, I think it's in Corinthians, or one of those, or yeah, Colossians or Corinthians. But what the Bible tells you is, um, dwell with her according to knowledge, is her being the weaker vessel. A lot of men are very cavemanish when they read through the word, and they got a cavemanish way of dealing with women and not understanding what they wrestling with in their head sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's it called? Not empathizing. Now, I'm not saying be some little soft, effeminate punk tiptoeing through the tulips. You got to stand firm, but you also, like, before I came to Straight, where I deal with a lot of these other Hebrew Israelite groups and assemblies, man, and just Hebrew spirit, and they just be calling me. I can't tell you the number of times I got calls. I come in the truth and she won't listen. She won't listen. And the Bible tells she's supposed to be this, and she talking back and it. And it's like, man, bro, dwell with them according to knowledge as a weaker vessel. Ease it in. You just yesterday you were Bishop Bubblegum wearing pink suits to church, and now today you you know Shalom, Hebrew Balakawak. You done change your name to something else, and you like telling her to kneel before you and all that, and you done had this switch, and there's no patience going on, And like I said, I'm exaggerating it, but these are things I've seen. So you want to know, is this a man of understanding when you marry your daughter off? Uh, has thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. Now, check this out. What we're going to do, I'm going to read this in the other version, okay? Because these verses, when you read these verses in these other versions, you're going to notice there's a highly feminine twist on everything, okay? So it said, don't give yourself over to a light woman, okay? So what this is implying. Now, I don't know exactly what it means when it says light woman, but this is some type of woman. Now, watch what this one does. Okay, this translation is feminine. Do you have a wife who is a soulmate? Don't divorce her, and don't trust yourself to a woman whom you hate. You see the way it twisted that? Now let's go over to 26. Or I'm sorry, let's go over to this other version. It says, if you have a good wife, do not divorce her, but do not trust yourself if someone you don't, but do not trust yourself to someone you don't love. You see what I'm saying? Don't make no sense. So, um, let me see. There's another version I could get here that will make it, like, elaborate on what that word light means. Let me see if I could get it. Which version was that? Let me try this one. And that's 26. Do you have a wife who pleases you? Do not divorce her, but do not trust yourself to one who you detest. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to do further research into that. But and you're gonna see later on when it comes to these scriptures on women, and you read it in these other versions, they feminize it because I'm telling you, these verses in the book of Sirach that talk about women. I mean, these verses are uh it's like they ain't ducking no smoke. They coming straight down the middle. I mean, they ain't mixing up words. But it's crazy how some of these other translations, how they the degree to which they water it down or twist it. So you'll see. It says, honor thy father with thy whole heart and forget not the sorrows of thy mother. It's telling you to honor your father and don't forget what your mother went through to give birth to you and everything like that. It says, remember that thou was begotten of them, and how canst thou recompense them the things that they have done for thee? It says, fear the Lord with all thy soul and reverence his priests. Love him that made thee with all thy strength, and forsake not his ministers. For the Lord and honor, fear the Lord and honor the priest, and give him his portion as is commanded thee. The first fruits and the trespass offering and the gift of the shoulders and the sacrifice of sanctification and the first fruits of the holy things. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward. It says, and stretch thine hand unto the poor, that thy blessings may be perfected. A gift have grace in the sight of every man living, and for the dead detain it not. Okay. Fail not to be with them that weep, and mourn with them that mourn. Be not slow to visit the sick, for that shall make thee to be beloved. Whosoever thou takest in hand, remember the end, and thou shalt never do amiss. So, whosoever thou takest in hand, remember the end, and thou shalt not. All right, let me read that one in this version. It says, don't hesitate to visit the sick, because you will be loved on account of these acts. In all your words, remember your end, and you will never sin. So remember your end. Remember the judgment. You remember you're gonna be judged. Okay. Yeah. So and if any of y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, y'all definitely come on in and put them. Y'all definitely come in and put them in here. Um, I think we're gonna hold off there. That we're gonna start on chapter 8 on the next one. But let's see if any of y'all got any questions, comments, concern. Um, yes, definitely some good stuff in there. Um, and hopefully y'all get notification as I read through all that. Read through those verses and try to shed some light on them. I'm gonna give y'all a sec if any of y'all got any questions, comments. Let's see. No, looks like there are not any. But anyway, definitely a good study. And like I said, we're going to continue reading through this and getting into it. And hopefully more than once a week. That's the game plan, depending on my schedule. But like I said, I could be very busy. Anyway, y'all, with that said, I appreciate all y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel, and you are watching Spiritual Combat. And shalom, shalom.